Oh, now.
Okay. All right. So I am here with Miss Katelynn Barr. She is a English voice actress who has voiced what looks like well over a dozen characters here, but most notably Captain Mina Ashihiro from the newest Kaiju #8. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. This is actually like my first like anime convention that I've ever been to, and it's
Wow.
kind of been like so. It's actually like I'm kind of glad that it's kind of like it's still a pretty good turnout.
Yeah.
So and it's not like completely overwhelming because I'm really not like a big fan of crowds like that.
Right.
But I'm really glad that you gave me the chance to interview you.
Yeah, of course.
Um, I just want to ask like how exactly did you like get into anime and how did that propel you into doing like voiceover roles?
I was an anime fan as a kid. Excuse me. I grew up in the '90s, so Pokemon, Sailor Moon, all that was coming around as I was growing up. I watched Toonami every day after school. I was obsessed with Sailor Moon. But I didn't ever think that voice acting for anime was like a job that was accessible to me. I never really like aspired to it because I thought it was something that you had to be like a famous like Hollywood actor to do. I don't know why I thought that, but I ended up in. I'm from North Carolina, but I ended up in Texas after college, and in Houston is where Sentai Filmworks, uh, one of the dubbing studios for anime, is, and Dallas is where Funimation, now Crunchyroll, does all of their dubs out of, or most of their dubs out of. So Texas was really like the perfect spot to be in, and I got my degree in theater. I knew I wanted to be an actor, and once I graduated, moved to Texas. I started working in children's theater professionally, and through that, I sort of met a lot of people in the anime voice acting circle, and I ended up getting an audition at Sentai, and the first show I was in was Log Horizon back in 2013.
Okay, awesome. So with that, how do you think that anime in general has because like you said earlier, like anime kind of became like this. By the time you were watching it, um, especially with Toonami, anime was like pretty much like this globalized medium, like well into like the late '80s and late '90s, and then it kind of hit like this, almost kind of like this second wind, like almost after COVID hit. And so, like,
Yeah.
what are your takes on like how anime has like grown all of a sudden in a sense?
I think anime has really had a moment in the U.S. I agree with you, probably around the time that COVID happened, and I've talked to so many people who watched all of One Piece during COVID. It's
I
like
was
that
one of
was.
those people.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's a good time. I
yeah.
mean, it takes up time. But I think it is having a kind of a second wave, like you said, because when I was growing up and watching anime, it was cool and it was on TV, but it was like if you were an anime fan, if you were one of the kids that liked anime, you were kind of like it was like a niche interest.
Very
Like,
much so. Yes.
yeah, it was like, oh, the anime kids, like they're up there, But like now, it's like My Hero, I think, is one of the biggest ones that have made it like more Western, like or more accessible in the West because it is like it's more like Western. It plays into like the superheroes' interests of like American pop culture,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of I think largely responsible for how now it's just you can kind of just assume that most people know anime and a lot of people are really into it, so it's definitely not a niche interest anymore.
Yeah, I feel like Attack on Titan was like another one of those
Oh
shows that
yeah,
did that
definitely.
too. Okay, for sure. And we got a little line here. And my final question: what do you think would be what do you suspect the future of anime to be like going forward? Now that it's kind of been like this, it's been one of the most successful genres, like economically and like culturally. And where do you expect it to be like within like the next decade or so?
I expect it'll keep growing. I expect the trend will continue the way it is. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Especially with how easy it is to access anime now. Anime is on streaming, and it's not even like that you have to be subscribed to an anime streaming service. It's on Netflix, it's on Hulu. You can just casually pick up anime now, and so I feel like that'll continue the way that it has been, and soon there will be like old people that don't know what anime is. Like everybody's grandma will know what anime
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you doing this for me. This means a lot. You the most success in the
Yeah.
voiceover future.
Thank you,
No
and I
problem.
wish you success too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you so much.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much.
That was awesome.
Thank you. Hmm? Oh yeah. You can stop.